Hey, what's going on, guys? We're going to be doing a deck profile for the Chaos Inzektors that I was playing a while ago. This was actually before I was playing the Inzektors with the sword, so I mean, this deck is a little bit older, but I still think it's viable. And the reason why I decided to play Chaos Inzektors, or made the deck, was essentially because, as you guys know, Inzektors, they have like their one summon, and then that's it. If you Valor, you Torrential, you Book a Moon, that's really it. That's all they can do. They basically pass their turn. And that's why I decided, Chaos Inzektors sounded like a good idea because you had summons like Cyber Dragon, you can go Chaos Sorcerer, and if they already use their resources like, Warning on like a Dragonfly, then you can just summon a Chaos Sorcerer and that can be problematic for your opponent. So that was kind of the reason why I decided to check out the Chaos Inzektors. And I'd say the deck is pretty good. However, personally, I still do favor the Sword Branch just because you can OTK with 2 cards and it's just really fast. But yeah, let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile. So, wouldn't be Chaos without Blackluster and his best friends over there. So we're playing 1 Blackluster, 3 Chaos Sorcerer, and then to help out with the light control, because you are playing triple Chaos Sorcerer, which is pretty hefty, you're playing 3 Cyber Dragons to help out with light, and Cyber Dragon overall pretty solid just because when your opponent activates something like Solemn Warning, you could at least still have another summon that turn early on in the game, and that does help because sometimes with Inzektors, if you guys have ever played Inzektors, when you don't have the ability to go for Hornet or equip Gigamantis early on in the game, you can just straight out lose because you need to get that setup where either you have Hornet in your hand or Hornet in the grave within the first like 3 turns. Otherwise, the deck can lose quite fast because there's not that great of back row, I'd say, in Inzektors because there's not very much room. Next up, we're playing Dark Arm just because it's Dark Arm and it's an additional summon. Once again, once your Inzektor gets negated, and if you happen to have some other cards in the graveyard that you don't need, or if you've milled, which I'll get to later on. Then we're playing 3 Effect Valor. There's no Maxi in here just because I wasn't a fan of milling Maxi, although Maxi is a great card. But currently on Dueling Network right now, Dark Bolt is huge, and so is Chaos Mystic Piper, and most of those things are inherent special summons, so you can't plus off of the Maxi as much as like a deck like Windups. But yeah, I mean, as long as you have that Valor, you should be pretty good against Windups anyways. Although sometimes they can still just go for multiple Zen-Maties anyways. Next up, we're playing Gorse because back row is kind of weak in this deck, and Gorse is another Dark, plus he's quite good. Then there's the standard Inzektor lineup, which I would consider 3 Centipede, 3 Dragonfly, 1 Gigamantis, and 3 Inzektor Hornets. And so, yeah, I'd say that's pretty standard for the Inzektor lineup. And then to help out more with the getting those cards to the graveyard, just sometimes is really required. So I decided to put in Rykos because I was playing Thunder King for a while as well. But the thing is, there wasn't that much great back row to protect Thunder King with. And especially because a lot of people are like using like skill drains and like Beast Kings, and I felt like Raikou just would have been a good card just because it hits Macrocosmos as well. I've seen some Rabbit players main deck Macrocosmos. They're not playing D-Fisher anymore just because D-Fisher does not stop the Inzektor Hornet from equipping from the hand. And you can still use its effect to pop because it's treated as an equipped spell, basically, is how it's ruled, which is kind of strange because, I mean, technically it's still a monster. But next up, we're playing 3 Torgai and Sengen, which allows you to grab the Dragonfly that you need, or the Hornet that you need, or Effect Valor, or I guess Raikou, in the off chance that you need Raikou. And it does help you exceed and make other things. You can make Zen Mains and stall for a while. Next up, we're playing Allure, Dark Hole, 2 Forbidden Lance. I still like this card so much. And then Heavy Storm and Monster Reborn. And then we dropped a Duality as well, just because Chaos Inzektors can special summon a lot more than regular Inzektors, I'd say. And then we're playing 2 Warning and 2 Torrential Tribute. So that is it for the main deck. As far as the extra deck, I mean, it's pretty familiar. I mean, you can make Arcanite Magician, and that is made by summoning your Chaos Sorcerer, removing a card, and then you summon Effect Valor, and then you make Arcanite. And then you can pop 2 more cards, and pretty good stuff there. Next up, I think pretty much everything is forbidden except for this card. This card's also something that you might have not seen before. It requires an Insect monster plus a Dark Tuner. Although there's nothing in this deck, you do have Monster Reborn, so you can use that to get back your opponent's cards. And what's great is it's got the effect of like Frozen Fitzgerald, where if it attacks, they can't activate any spell or trap cards until the end of damage step. So it's great against Rabbit, just because Rabbits do tend to run deep prisons, and sometimes they will be running Lance, maybe if they're trying to save a Sabersaurus or something like that that's on the field. But it's really great. Once per turn, you can equip 1 face-up monster your opponent controls to this card as an equip card. If this card would be destroyed by battle, you can destroy the equipped card instead. And you can only equip one monster at a time, but yeah, that is a great thing to do. Just because, you know, it keeps him on the field, and whatever they summon, if they attack over you, you can just be like, oh, it's cool, I'll just, you know, have the equipped monster be destroyed instead, and then I'll just take your monster again. So, at the off chance that you get this card out, he is great. I was playing Birdman in here, but I felt like sometimes you just really need to get that extra light. So, I mean, if you guys wanted to, you can tech in maybe one Birdman, if you guys know what that is. I'll just type it in real quick, and you guys can see what he does. He's great in the whole Inzektor combo because what you can do is you can go summon Dragonfly, you activate its effect to pop one, you get out Centipede, you activate Centipede's effect to pop another one, and you leave the monster there, and then they usually be confused. And then what you do is use Centipede's effect and you grab whatever you really want. Usually it's going to be Dragonfly again. And what you can do with Birdman is bounce back the other Dragonfly, so then you'll have 2 Dragonflies in your hand, so you'll be set to go for quite a while. You'll have some good plays, and then you can make a Synchro, which would be the Underground Arachnid, which requires a Insect plus a Dark Tuner, so Birdman plus the Centipede will allow you to do that. Also, Birdman is kind of good just because if you have enough light and darks in the graveyard and you go Chaos Sorcerer, effect to remove, and they go, I'll activate Effect Veiler, and I'll stop your effect. You can go Birdman, bounce back your Chaos Sorcerer, and then you can summon Chaos Sorcerer again, plus you'll have another 14 attack. So sometimes, you know, it's good to be able to do that. But yeah, so this has been the deck profile for the Chaos Inzektors. If you have any suggestions, let me know, because I do want to revisit this deck in the future, just because Inzektor Sword is kind of getting old. I mean, it's just OTKs, like, too much. Like, I mean, not saying that it's, you know, bad because of OTKs. It's just, it's not very fun to, like, cast games, because I've tried to record games with it, and, like, it's too one-sided to where I'm, like, second or third turn just be like, okay, equip with sword, and then they just quit, because they're like, oh, you win. Because, yeah, but yeah, I definitely do want to check this deck out in the future, so if you have any suggestions for different cards to run, let me know, and I'll be sure to check it out, and I'll see if you guys have anything that, you know, would be kind of good in this deck. I think Thunder King would be okay. It's just, again, I just don't have the protection, I feel like, to play it. And I was playing Tragodia as well before, but you know, a lot of people are just playing those skill drains, and that's why I kind of felt like the Lances kind of replaced it. Because usually you'd summon Inzektor, and if it gets Veilered, you can then drop the Trag. But I feel like this card is just so good because if your opponent has skill drain out, you just pop the skill drain, get out Centipede, pop another thing. It's just too good. But anyways, yeah. So this has been the deck profile for the Chaos Inzektors, because I had a lot of people request this after the Sword one, actually. But anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Asian Eyes White Dragon, signing out.